For 30 years, the entire world watched the life of a single man. His name was Truman Burbank, and his entire existence, every gesture, every word, every tear was broadcast without interruption. He was born under cameras, grew up under spotlights, and grew old surrounded by spectators who loved him, without ever truly knowing him. An artificial city called Sea Haven was built for him, a cardboard paradise, a painted sky, a sun that obeyed the production. When I first saw that story, I felt an unease that was hard to name. It wasn't just empathy for Truman, it was the recognition of something deeper, the suspicion that we all, in some way, live inside scripts we never chose. We've grown used to watching. We watch news, tragedies, romances, falls, and triumphs that belong to others. And in that constant observation, something inside us became passive. We stopped feeling the pain we witness. Have you ever thought about how many lives you consume each day without realizing it? Truman wakes up to the same alarm sound he's heard his entire life. He opens the door, breathes in Sea Haven's clean air, and greets with his ritual phrase, "Good morning." And in case I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. The neighbors smile, lights turn on, the mailman waves. Everything seems authentic, but none of it is. Every corner is watched by cameras. Every smile is rehearsed. The entire city functions as a perfect set built to serve the spectacle. I've always been struck by how precisely routine can disguise itself as freedom. Truman doesn't follow visible orders, but his world is designed so that he never needs them. It happens to us too. We think we're choosing, when in reality we're acting within invisible structures. We call them habits, tradition, normality. What if your freedom were nothing more than a carefully written script? One morning, a spotlight falls from the sky and crashes in front of his car. Truman stops, picks it up, examines it. The label reads Sirius 9, Skylight. For the first time, something doesn't fit, but the local news quickly explains it away. A plane lost a part, nothing to worry about. The show goes on. In the studio, the technicians sigh in relief. In their homes, the audience laughs. Only Truman feels that the sky is no longer as firm as before. Cracks are like that. They start small, almost imperceptible. They don't announce collapse, only a faint tremor. But once you notice them, you can never sleep soundly again. We live among cracks too. When something contradicts what we've always believed, we patch it up with quick explanations. We prefer a comfortable lie to an honest void. How many times have you pretended not to see the fracture in your own sky? Truman gets home. His wife greets him with a smile so perfect it looks like an advertisement, and it is. Every gesture, every word, is part of a commercial disguised as affection. When they argue, she suddenly interrupts the tension to show off a cocoa brand to the camera. Truman looks at her, confused. The audience laughs. Love has become a product. Intimacy, a marketing cue. It pains me to think that the most human things, affection, closeness, complicity, can become part of the business. But we live surrounded by that, emotions packaged and sold in high definition. We've learned to consume feelings as if they were entertainment. We're moved by other people's tears and call it empathy, when in truth it's the distant pleasure of feeling without involvement. Do you remember the last time you cried for someone on a screen, and then went on with your life as if nothing had happened? One afternoon, Truman sees a homeless man among the crowd. Something in his face looks familiar. He follows him, calls out to him. Just as he's about to reach him, a group of people appears and takes the man away. Hours later, his father officially returns to the show. The reunion is broadcast live, hugs, tears, epic music. The audience is moved, and the news repeats the scene on a loop. But the reunion is as fake as the rain falling on them. That scene haunted me for days. I realized that television and now social media has a disturbing ability to make lies feel more real than life itself. We feed on manipulated stories. The more intense they are, the more we believe them. And we end up measuring truth by how strongly it moves us. Tell me, have you noticed how often you confuse what's emotional with what's real? Truman begins to suspect. On the radio, a voice narrates his steps in real time. They cut the transmission, but it's too late. Something has broken. He notices that the streets repeat, that the same faces walk the same corners. The sky looks like a motionless painting. For every doubt, the system responds: a smile, a commercial, a distraction. Meanwhile, the audience is entertained. Ratings rise. Drama sells. I can't help but wonder if we're all part of that invisible audience. We love watching others question their reality while we stay comfortable within ours. Sometimes we think another person's awakening can save us, as if watching someone else's rebellion were enough to make us free. Isn't it ironic? We applaud those who dare to escape, but we don't follow them. Truman tries everything. He buys tickets, takes buses, looks for exits. Every road is blocked. Accidents, emergencies, excuses. When he finally reaches the bridge leading off the island, the police stop him. One of them calls him by name without knowing him. Fear turns into certainty. Someone is controlling his life. That scene hurts because it captures an instinct. We all know the impulse to run from what traps us. But escaping an invisible structure is almost impossible. The system always has a reason for you to stay. We're taught to distrust the unknown, to fear uncertainty. Stability, even if false, feels safer than freedom. And you? How many times have you chosen to stay just because fear sounded more convincing than truth? Truman steals a sailboat and heads out to sea. The water pounds the hull. The waves rise. In the control room, Christoph, the creator of the show, watches with godlike eyes. Raise the wind, he orders. The storm roars. The boat nearly capsizes. The technicians beg him to stop the scene. Christoph shakes his head. He has to reach the end. Even if he dies, the whole world watches. Hearts race. The audience is mesmerized. The possible death of a man has become the most thrilling television event of the year. In that storm lies something profoundly human, the desire for freedom clashing against imposed fear. But there's also something monstrous, our need to witness someone else's pain just to feel moved. We're a culture that confuses suffering with authenticity. The more real the pain seems, the more we share it, comment on it, and make it go viral. Do you see it? Sometimes we don't want to save the one who's drowning, we just want to see how long they can endure. Truman's boat crashes into a wall. The sky cracks open. Before him stands a staircase leading to a door. Silence fills the air. Christoph speaks from above. Truman, there's no truth out there. You're safe here. Truman looks at the horizon, smiles, and says his final line: in case I don't see you again. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. He walks through the door. For the first time, there are no applauses, only a heavy silence that spreads across homes worldwide, until someone breaks the stillness and asks, "What else is on TV?" That moment struck me as one of the cruelest and truest scenes in cinema. The audience learns nothing, they simply change the channel. Someone else's freedom lasts less than the emotion it provokes. That's how we are. We watch others' redemption as if it were entertainment. We're moved for a minute, then keep scrolling. And you? What would you do after seeing someone break their cage? Would you turn off your own? The screens change, but the gaze remains. Today, we don't need a set. Each of us carries a camera in our pocket. We record ourselves, watch ourselves, sell ourselves. We broadcast every moment, hoping to be seen. The world has filled with little Trumans, and with millions of anonymous Christophs behind the screens. Sometimes, I think the movie wasn't about the future, but about our present. The spectacle is no longer a show, it's a culture. We feed on views, likes, comments. We measure our worth by the attention we receive. The show goes on because we all participate, some acting, others watching. And the line between reality and performance blurs a little more every day. Maybe the only way to escape is this: to watch less and feel more.